Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to the committee of the whole meeting this morning. I welcome everybody that's here in the boardroom, everybody that's virtual. We'll have a public comment at the end of the meeting. If you want to address the board at that time on anything that you heard during the meeting or whatever it may be, you can do that at the end of the meeting. And with that, we'll call the meeting to order, and there'll be a roll call by Madam Clerk Clayton.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Goodchild.
Here.
Commissioner Barba.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Here.
Commissioner Luce.
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. New business. Anybody got anything they want to add to the business that we got going here this morning? First thing under new business is annual delegation of school plan review and inspection authority. Jared Bush, Transportation Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This is our annual delegation form for the state of Michigan. It authorizes the school districts in Tuscola County to utilize our local building codes authority, inspection, plan review. I am presenting for the 10 school districts in Tuscola County, including Tuscola Intermediate, Macon, Fairgrove, and all the remaining areas for authorization to utilize our building codes authority. Most of it's an annual form that we have to submit to the state of Michigan to get authorization to use, or we'll have to use the state of Michigan inspection building codes authority. I know most of the commissioners here, I think Mr. Goodchild is the only new one here. Don't know if you need any questions answered on the forms. But it's basically acknowledging that we do have a building codes authority here in Tuscola County that we will utilize for any construction.
This is something that we do every year, just let the state know, because the state will do it themselves, come in and do their building inspection, but we'd rather have to do it under the county state. Anybody got any questions for
CA.
CA?
Yeah.
We'll put it on CA. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
You too. Number 2, Parks and Recreation request to apply for Michigan Trailways and Greenways Catalyst Grant. Nancy Barrios, Parks and Rec. Yep.
Thank you.
Seems like Mike and I were just here the other day.
Seems like it.
The last time we were here, we asked you to approve a project for the feasibility study at the parcels. And that was on a Monday, and it was put on the consent agenda. And on Thursday, it was taken off the consent agenda and redebated and then passed. And I thank you for passing that, allowing us to go forward. On Tuesday evening, I received an email, which I opened up on Wednesday, from the chairman of the Cass River Greenway. And that email contained a grant that was due September 26th, which is the end of this week. And that is from the Michigan Trails and Greenway Alliance, and it's called the MTGA Catalyst Fund application. So having realized that we had already discussed the feasibility study, I didn't think it was possible for us to apply. And on a whim, I called and talked to the executive director, and she said, yes, you can apply. So I don't know, there's no guarantee that we'll get the grant, but it is an opportunity to recoup money toward that feasibility study. As y'all know, feasibility studies are typically not covered by any grants. What's unique about this is the Michigan Trails and Greenways Alliance fundamentally helps groups that are working on trailways, whether it's the Iron Bell Trail, which is affiliated with this program. Bike trails, water trails. Cass River Greenway was notified of this grant opportunity from a gentleman at University of Michigan Flint, who is also part of our Cass River Greenway group. So I called and talked to the executive director. She said, yes, you can apply. You can apply for up to $5,000. I don't know if they'll give us the entire grant, if we'll even get the grant, but we're going to try. The grant is an online grant. It's very simple to fill out because there's no opportunity to print what you can submit to them. I typed it out, and this is what I had put together to submit for that grant deadline on September the 26th. It's relatively easy, relatively quick. It is an upfront grant, and we will be notified on October 4th if we receive the grant, and we'll receive payment that we can use towards the feasibility study. So that'll be a way for us to, if it's approved, recoup some of the money towards the parcels feasibility study. The importance of this grant and the parcels, just to bring you up to speed, you have a grant, or you have a launch. I believe there's one in Vassar. There is one in Tuscola Township. There's one on the works. There's a boat launch at Chippewa Landing, and there is a launch, kayak launch on their plan for next year. The only parcel that we have in the upper reaches, which is from M53 back to M46, that is not improved or does not have access to the water, is the parcels feature. And that was very dear to Mr. McKay's heart. He and I attend the Cass River Greenway for a number of years, and that's been a project that we've worked for, and the board has purchased that property in hopes of having that be a launch site. So that's the only site that we have at this point that does not have any improved access. And when I say improved access, you don't have to have a Taj Mahal. You only have to have access to the water so people can go there, get on and off the water. So that's something I want to just make clear. It just has to be improved enough, and at some point, a park put in, I would hope. We hope have a park where people can actually go there and enjoy it. Currently, we only have one park in the Parks and Recreation group. We're in charge of Parks and Recreation for Tuscola County. And water access to the Cass River would certainly be an opportunity to provide people with recreation and free recreation. They bring their own kayak, they get on the water, they take a spin down the river, and then come back or go to the next site to get on or off the river. It'll bring people into the community. It'll nourish the community as well. So what I'm here today to ask is for your permission. I had asked if we could have a blanket approval to apply for grants when they come up. Like in this case, you only have 2 weeks to apply for a grant when it's open. And I understand that we have to come before you and get approval because of some of the requirements of the grant, and just make sure that it's a legitimate grant. I can tell you this is a legitimate grant. It is an upfront grant. The requirements for completion are 2 follow-up summaries, which ask one at 6 months and one at a year. Questions that they ask are briefly describe the trail development or improvement project your organization is undertaking. How has the MTGA Catalyst grant helped you move along? Did the grant allow your organization to leverage any other funds, which of course it can't, because no other group will fund a feasibility study. It's typically not something you find in a grant. Has your organization involved the community, and how will success be measured and recognized? That's the follow-up. You have to send in your receipts for any payments that you made. and then document how that improvement has moved forward. But having the ability to have that feasibility study, if we go forward and want to do something more structured at the parcels, requires a feasibility study to be done. So what we're trying to do is just recoup some money for the county to help pay for this, and this would be an opportunity if they approve the grant. So I'm asking for your permission to apply.
Any questions for Nancy? I think as far as grants go, as long as there's not a match to the grant where it's gonna cost us anything, I mean, if something comes up, I feel you should have the right to apply without more action, as long as there's not a match. I mean, that's what it's always been. If there's a match to that grant where it's gonna cost that we have to throw money into it, then we've always gone before the board. But as long as there's not a match to it.
There is no match.
Yeah, there's no match to this.
They'll give, if they give up to 5,000, obviously we're responsible for the balance,
Right.
which you've already
We've
approved.
already approved that,
Which
right?
you've already approved. And I would ask you, as you go forward and move into your budgeting opportunities, since we've had this parcel for 5 years, if we could set up a line item and when you budget, look at that as a specific, apparently has to be a specific line item in order to have funds expended for the Parks and Recreation Fund. Apparently doesn't cover both parks. It just apparently covers Vanderbilt. So we need something that's organized in that respect. And I can tell you this, Vanderbilt Park is on the far corner of the county. And I don't know how often you've all been there. When I served the last year of my husband's position on the Parks and Rec in 2019, 2020, I tried to get all the summer meetings held at the park so people could see the park, because you can't really make decisions on the park if you haven't been to the park. Well, that didn't go very well. And trying to get people way far to the campground, just to see what's going on an everyday basis is difficult. Having the parcels where it's going to be more local for residents of the county from this area to be able to access and use will be certainly a benefit to the community, local community as well.
CA.
CA?
Please don't take it off the CA on Thursday. Promise?
Well, you make no problems.
Thank you.
Board of Canvassers appointments. Ms. Fetty?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So what I'm here today is to request appointment to the Board of Canvassers. Every 4 years, we're required to seek nominations from the local party chairs. And so we have received one nomination from each party. So for our Republican nominee, that is Doug Lagos, he is currently a Board of Canvasser, and they would like him to continue to serve in that role. And then from our Democratic Party, they have nominated Alex Kirsch, and he will be a new appointment. From my understanding, Chuck Stockwell is ready to retire from that board, and I'd like to publicly express my appreciation for his service on that board. He has been a great asset. So Alex will be a newcomer to that and representing that. And that will be for a 4-year term, and that's effective November 1st, 2025. So once they do the nomination, it does have to come before you in order to have the official appointment made to that board. And that matter can be placed on this consent agenda if you so choose.
Let's do that.
Yeah. All good.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number 4, Sheriff's Office request for 7 license plate readers. Sheriff Robinson?
I've got the paperwork here.
Morning.
Morning.
We've been looking at a company called Flock Safety for They're called license plate reader cameras. Basically, they're high-speed cameras set up in strategic locations throughout the county, and they capture license plate data. Not only license plates, but characteristics of cars or vehicles. Let's say a specific bumper sticker or something with a car rack on it or something. It can search its network, and if we're looking for a vehicle, it'd be able to come up with a list of vehicles that fit those parameters, and we can scroll through them. And if it's the car that we're looking for, that's what we're interested in. We have Flock is going to join us here for a meeting. Hopefully, they're going to give basically the how the system works and the cost. But we're looking at 7 cameras, and they'll be strategically placed throughout the county, east, west, north, and south, and it'll monitor the vehicle traffic coming into our county. Let's say, for instance, another county has like an Alzheimer's patient that was last seen heading north up into the Thumb. If it passes one of our cameras, we can be notified of the direction and travel of that vehicle, and at least gives a heads up that it's in our county. Several times a year, we get those types of calls. Missing any kind of serious suspect that we're looking for in any kind of serious crime. The information is then for those license plates is kept on Flock's server for 30 days, and then it's deleted unless we save something. The cameras are for 7 of them, it's $24,500 per year. For us, they have waived an installation fee of $8,150. They also have the capability of connecting with other businesses if all the requirements are right. Let's say Speedway gas stations, if they're on the same network. For a nominal fee, we can have them hooked up, so cars that are pulling in the gas stations, same thing that we're looking for. That's just another part of it. There's many counties and cities throughout the state that are using these. The majority of them are in south of us, but Sanilac is looking at approval for a number of them. Saginaw and Lapeer is getting on board. So, and we're able to use their cameras as well because it's a network. So this is not only statewide, but it's nationwide. So if there's a vehicle that we're looking for that heads out of state and it passes a Flock camera, we have that information as well. Do you have any other info?
Just, it's extremely useful investigatory tool. We recently had a party a couple months ago where some gunshots were fired, cars were shot up, and witnesses were able to give a description of that vehicle. It would have been beneficial for us if it would have passed one of our cameras. Luckily, it ended up going down to Flint, and Flint Flock cameras were able to pick it up, so we were able to develop suspects, things like that. But it can be used, again, for the dementia patients, for missing juvenile, if they get picked up and we can determine what type of vehicle that person was in that picked up the juvenile. All sorts of uses for it.
The incident that you referred to, there was a large party, a gathering up in Cass City where guns were involved and shots were fired. The suspect vehicle ended up in Genesee County. It was picked up. Was it picked up on one of their Flock cameras?
Yeah. 24 hours later, they were involved with shooting 13 people down there.
Yeah.
That same car.
And just prior to that, they were up in our county. So things could have been bad, but it wasn't that bad. So. Any luck?
I have not seen them. They're not on.
Can we maybe move on to the next one while I give them a call and make sure they will join them.
You got somebody that's gonna join on this conversation?
Yeah, he's gonna do a presentation for you guys so you can see what the cameras are like.
Yeah, see what you-
About 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so we'll come back to that then. But Michigan State Police, post door locks and hardware. Mr. Mike Miller?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is a request from the Michigan State Police Post. As you may remember, we installed 2 new exterior doors for them. They are putting in a new security system for their doors. This involves some of the exterior doors and interior doors of changing locks, moving locks around, putting on some new crash bars for them. Dave's Glass gave us 2 alternates. The more expensive one at $8,135 is using the exact same hardware that they have currently out there. And then he has an alternate of $4,575. That would accomplish the same goal that we're trying to reach, but with a cheaper option that he feels is still good quality and commercial grade. So if the board is willing to do this, I would recommend that we go with their alternate bid of $4,575.
Any questions for Mike on this? CA?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Number 6, NetSource One renewal quote, John Ramirez.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I know it seems like we just did this not too long ago, but we do have several licenses with NetSource One regarding our Fortinets. This is just another annual renewal that we do every year. The total in the packet is $1,777. Just in case you were curious, from last year, it went down 25%. But the reason for that, I believe, was because after we renewed our contract last year, we also upgraded the aged equipment. So newer equipment, easier to take care of, cheaper to take care of. So I just look to have this annual approval.
Questions for John?
All right.
CA?
Thank you.
Consent agenda?
CA, yeah.
Thank you.
Move on to number 7, Tuscola County Commissioners Financial Information. Erica Dibble.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The, in your packet is the similar information to what we provided last time, which was for the budget kickoff. However, there is an update that I did hand out to you on paper. I'll update that for the packet for Thursday for approval. We are on target to open the budget up for department heads late this afternoon or tomorrow morning.
I did. Thank you for checking. If I may ask a question, one thing that on your new handout that might be helpful for tracking purposes, if able, is to add a column in the top as to when those millages expire. For planning purposes, we will have various millages I know coming up in 2026 that we'll need to be reviewing and discussing. So that might be just some helpful information as you're planning and looking forward as to when those expire.
Sure, definitely good feedback. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Probably a motion on this.
I don't know that this needs to be
Just
approved.
information.
I think it's just information.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So let you know we are on target.
Thank you.
Some good stuff in there too, Eric, I appreciate that.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, would you
thank
repeat that?
Some good stuff,
Oh,
some
great,
good stuff in there to look at there.
thank you.
Okay, yep. Moving on, I guess. Somebody's got any questions? I don't see anything under old business. We're moving to finance and technology. Let's send it over to Commissioner Bardwell.
Commissioners, are there any questions or concerns financially? Going forward?
I don't know.
Chairman, my only thought is continuing is that we're moving into fourth quarter negotiations, insurance and other items. So we do have a copy of CLATS, what she's projected last year that Erica put out. You can see the continuous deficit that we're headed into. I mean, 26 will probably survive, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you know. If you know, help me understand it because we're going the wrong direction. And we also were handed out the non-mandated services, and I think that's about $1 million worth. And usually that's when we start going in a deficit, those are the first things you look at to start cutting, and you know how unpopular that would be, looking at all those items. Without reminding, but I guess I'll remind, we've got somewhere between 1.8 and 2 point something in our unassigned or the old GFP funds. That's basically, as I understand, what we have cash in the bank. We don't know how that's going to be distributed other than what Plant projected it to 650 or the transfers out. If you looked at the transfers in and transfers out, if you didn't have to do transfers out, I mentioned this before, it'd be so much easier to run things. But it's an exhaustive number. And so I would suggest that we give this serious a thought, because also in that packet is our responsibility to make sure we're solvent and that the budget is balanced. That's when the hyperactivity begins. Now, with what we have so far, that's what I need understanding from the commissioners and just the confidence level and what you think the direction we should be going from a finance perspective, because it's going to affect not only budgeting and how we set ourselves up, but for the 25 or 26, but it certainly would lead to the many things that we've done in the past. Commissioner Vaughn, or Chairman Vaughn, I remember we had hiring freezes on all positions, case by case. I mean, at some point we have to recognize, unless we've got some basis of input of cash flow, that we need to start looking at reductions. That's a sad thing to be talking about. However, we're on the cusp of it. What we don't want to find ourselves in the audit, all of a sudden we find that we are worse or whatever, because it's better to get a head start than too late. But Chairman, I think at least we ought to, at some point in the future, we ought to be brought up to speed on negotiations when they're going to start. And also, I think we were RFQing different insurances to see if Brown & Brown, rather than just using Brown & Brown as the source, if there are any other options, just in case. And with that, I mean, those are my thoughts on the finance side, and I'll just leave that with all the commissioners just to ponder and look at. But the the red lines going out are you'll never see, I don't think I've ever seen, or a past board has ever seen a deficit projected like that. And so far, what Clayette projected is apparently true, or at least not challenged.
Well, yeah, and you're correct, Commissioner, a little bit, but before we did have a little bit of flex. The revenues that came in were not quite as much as, so we did have a little bit of influx, but you're right, so we gotta keep an eye on it. Look at it going forward.
So with that, there's my finance. So if there's no other questions on finance, that's enough to think about this morning. We'll move on to technology. Ian, can you fill in some technology positive comments?
Just returning from the state conference in Boyne, reminded AI was definitely the number one topic we talked about. And there was a presentation by the city of Grand Rapids on how they developed their AI policy. Much different than I thought how I would do my policy for the county. I'd like to put together some sort of committee that would be in charge of developing this policy. That committee would include stakeholders and key departments and personnel. Obviously, all the electeds would be part of it as well. And how we can lay the groundwork for use of AI inside the county instead of being prohibitive. The number one theme was AI will not replace people. People who use AI will replace people who don't use AI. So we definitely want to have that available, all the tools available to the workforce, but also keeping us safe and protected in the future. So how do we do that? What does that look like from all angles of the county workforce, not just from IT? So I'd like to, with this board's permission, I'd like to form the AI committee, form a policy of what we use AI for in this whole county. Okay.
Sounds good, yeah.
Back to you and then who we've put on that committee and who's going to be on it. And when we have something to put forth in front of you, we will bring it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, what we'd use it for the county. What about the list of what you wouldn't want it used for?
Yeah.
That'd be the most important, because
That's
everything
the
else.
first thing I think of is what we can't use it for, but also, I mean, we have to use it. Otherwise, we'll fall behind.
And when you talk about AI, we're all familiar, if you just do a Google search, you'll see it. But what do you think the most valuable aspect of AI is to the county? Where does it?
It's hard to say because there's so many different applications. I think it can make us more professional in our email drafting. So something as simple as that, but also recognizing license plates of criminals that are driving by, as it was just demonstrated by the sheriff. There's so many different applications of it. It's hard to narrow just one down of what would be the most. Obviously, saving lives would be a huge one, or preventing another life being taken. But also, I mean, just composing an email, you see it, it pops up in your email and say, this is what we're trying to say. And it'll be more professional way of stating it rather than. So many applications. We have to consider them all.
Any other questions for Ian? Back to you, Jim.
Okay. We'll move on into the building and grounds, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Lutz.
I don't have anything. Director Miller? Mr. Cook? Back to you, sir.
Personnel, we'll turn it over to Commissioner Goodchild.
I have nothing right now. I see the chair's request is on here.
Me again.
Morning.
We're looking to hire John Darling as a part-time corrections officer to fill a vacant part-time corrections officer. His background, physical check, or a physical and drug test have already been completed. He is to start on or about October 1st at step one rate of $21.96 per hour.
Any questions on that? CA that too? Thank you. Is there any other ongoing, other personnel that you discussed right now? As your person left?
Well, it looks like there was a discrepancy in 8 AM versus 8 PM. I think they're,
Hey, that's close, that's.
I think they're out west, but, so maybe we can have them on for Thursday, so they can give you that, demonstration. Just a couple other things I wanted to add is that these cameras would be mounted on poles with, solar panels. Again, they've waived that. So they maintain all that. It has been, vetted through, Ian here. So we're not part of the county's network. We just log in and get the information that we're looking for. Also, this is something that we're looking to maybe have the cities within Tuscola County or maybe some of the townships buy into too, and buy in their own camera for their area. And the last thing is that we're looking to use fund balance to pay for this.
Through the road patrol?
Road Patrol.
Correct. Is there any questions? Even though they're gonna-
That was my only question.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
So this will be put on Thursday's agenda?
Yep.
Or are you comfortable moving forward on the consent agenda?
I mean, you need to see a presentation of how they work, or we got an idea what they're doing? Like I said, it's coming out of the road patrol, fund balance.
Mr. Chair, I'm just talking for myself. I think we should do the consent agenda, but it'd be nice to see the presentation.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I'll work on getting them there Thursday.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business necessary this morning? Anybody want to address the board this morning, public comment? Anybody want to address the board this morning, public comment? Let the record show, Madam Clerk, that public comment was offered and we had no participants. With that, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Support.
So move by Commissioner Cook, support by Commissioner Ruth to adjourn the committee of the whole meeting this morning. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in online and here in the boardroom. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is adjourned.